Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, Herculean Homeschooling. I'm Sarah, homeschool mama of 6. For today's video, I'm going to be showing y'all an in-depth look on BookShark's Reading with History Level F. This is the study of the Eastern Hemisphere, and this is recommended by BookShark for ages 11 to 13. If y'all are familiar with my channel, y'all know that I do our history with all 6 kids at the same time. So we use it for ages 4 to 13. Obviously, the 4-year-old's not doing the same types of things as the 13-year-old is. However, we are all doing our study of the Eastern Hemisphere all together. I do want to share with y'all that BookShark has given me this curriculum in exchange for these videos and reviews. All of the opinions are my own, and I do have some discount codes. If you're interested in ordering from BookShark, I have my link in the description box, and you can shoot me an email. That information is in the description box as well to get a discount code for your order. So let's take a look and see what comes in that Reading with History Level F. I'm going to start by showing you guys the instructor's guide. So this I lovingly refer to as the Beast. It's this huge 4-inch binder that you can get through BookShark, and you'll want to get this because it comes in a pack with this and the timeline book and the markable map and a few other things. So it is really good durability, so that way you can keep all your instructor guide things together. Open it up. We are doing the Eastern Hemisphere. Oh, excuse me, I think I said earlier 11 to 13, and this is 10 to 13. So there's your cover. And then this color here, I usually put stickers, I'll show y'all later, on the read-alouds and readers, and I try to match the color that the strip that they have here, just so that I can organize them and then know what books on my bookshelf go with what. Then each level has their own little map thing that folds out. So this is all laminated. Then you get to the instructor guide. Now the instructor guides, y'all can get the first 3 weeks for free on the BookShark website. Again, that will be down in my description box. And so you can go there and you can get any level, any of these instructor's guides for free. Now here you'll see it's tabbed. That's what makes this thing so awesome. It's tabbed week by week. So you have your 36 weeks in there, and then you can separate them out. And then I usually put mine all together. So if you have history, science, language arts, all of that, I will put together in this big old book. So lots of information with your table of contents, that it breaks down how to use it. It's really a comprehensive look at how to use this curriculum so that it's just open and go for you. So I'm just gonna open up to a random week here. So here we have week 8. You can see that BookShark is a 4-day-a-week program. That's great because day 5, you can use that if you need to make up anything, if you didn't get to some of the stuff throughout the week, if you're doing a co-op, if you have music lessons or horseback riding lessons or whatever it is you have going on, you can do that on day 5. So I really like that we can get everything done in 4 days. And I like that it has the date at the top so you can fill in the dates. And then so week 8, day 1, day 2, day 3. So I appreciate that too, because what if we only get 2 days of history done in 1 week, and then the next week we can just open it up and start on day 3. So it's not already written in the dates. You get to choose that, and then you get to choose exactly when you're gonna do all of it. So on this side, it breaks down exactly what books you're gonna be reading or activities you're gonna be doing, and then it breaks it down day by day over here. So if you have Journey to the Eastern Hemisphere, it tells you what sections you're going to be reading. And then on day 1, and then you're going to be doing your notebook pages, which I'll show y'all later, then your optional activity. And then here you have the read-alouds of what you read out to your children. And then here are the readers, which is what they read on their own. Then it has plenty of space for you to fill in anything that you would like, and then space for other notes. When we turn the page, the instructor's guide breaks it down even more day by day. So here's your day 1, talking about that first book, your Journey to the Eastern Hemisphere. So you read the pages, then it tells you, so you read those pages, then it tells you about your timeline, notebook pages. And then you have some question options that you can talk to your kids about. I really like that they give us these questions to ask, and they do that for every single book. Okay, so over here you can see the questions to discuss after your read aloud, and then the readers of what they read on their own. It gives you questions because a lot of times I haven't read the book that they were just reading, and so I wouldn't know what questions to ask. And so I like that it tells me what types of questions so that I can make sure that their comprehension is there with what they're reading. This is also a great discussion starter. So I like that it gives us these questions to ask, especially at the beginning if you're new to BookShark, if you are maybe new to homeschooling and trying to figure out, well, how do I even talk to my kid about history, especially if you're familiar with the BookShark program and know that there's no tests or anything. So that has been a question that I've been asked of, how do you know your kids are actually learning when there's no tests or worksheets or things? So that is all through the discussions that we have together, the questions that I ask them, and it's amazing how much they learn when they're learning in a natural and fun environment. So that breaks that down even more day by day. Then you could come over here and it's the exact same thing for day 2. It tells you what all of these little symbols mean. So there it means that there's a timeline so that means that there's like a timeline portion, and then that little guy means that there's a sticker. I'll show you all the stickers in a minute as well to go with that timeline book. It breaks down vocabulary and how you might want to introduce vocabulary. The current events. Again, so that breaks it down for day 3 all the way to day 4. So that way, this is literally an open and go program. There's not a lot of prep work that I have to do as the teacher or that my children have to do as the student. You can literally just open and go. All right, I'm flipping over to week 16 here to show you guys this little red N here. If you see that in your instructor's guide, it means that there's a note to mom or dad or the teacher. So because it's in day 1, for a moment comes, we'll switch over, look for day 1, going down to where a moment comes, and then you can see that it's a note to mom or dad. Typically, it talks about a subject in the book that might be difficult, or it might be a sensitive subject that they are letting you know what that subject is and when it's going to be covered in the book. That way you can decide if your family is ready for that, if you want to have extra discussion about that, if you want to skip that. So then BookShark just gave you that heads up, which I really appreciate as a parent, to, especially because we do it with our younger children also, that if there is a sensitive topic or something that they might not be ready for, I know when that's coming up and I can prepare my family for that. I'm coming back here to show y'all in the week 4 that we literally just check it off when we are done with it. So as soon as it gets read or talked about, we just come over here and check this off. We don't keep our instructor's guide year to year. They're not super expensive, and so if whenever we're going to cycle back and do a level again, we will just get a new instructor's guide. A lot of times they've been updated, and so we do that. I don't worry about making copies or saving these. They're not really meant for that. If you have to show in your state, proof of whatever you're doing, you can write the dates in and then do more if you need to take notes or something. In Texas, we're not required to do any of that, so we just check it off that we did it. Level F does not have a lap book or activity box like some of the other history programs have. This has the notebook pages, and I know a lot of people wonder, like, what are the notebook pages? So I'm going to show y'all what those are. So that comes like shrink wrapped together, and you can buy more than one set. The top page is like cardstock-ish, and it's really pretty. It's a beautiful picture now that I'm looking at it closely. So if you have multiple kids doing it, you can get them each their own set. BookShark sells those individually, but they do also come, one set will come with your Reading with History collection, but if you need more for additional kids, you can get more. And then I just put this in a blank 3-ring notebook. And we do choose to do this as a family, so I didn't worry about getting individual notebook pages for each of my kids. We just do it all together. So the first country you study here in Eastern Hemisphere is China. And so it has the flag, the world map, there's stuff that you fill in. I love that this is like color printed, not just black and white. So this has like the timeline. So as you're reading, it'll tell you the different timeline pieces to be filling in. That's cool that it's like the country behind there. And then you have the map work. More interesting facts, fun facts, everyday life. And then there's the choose your adventure. And this is probably one of my favorite parts, is it gives you these different activities and you could do all of them. It tells you in the instructor's guide that to just pick one, or has like a week for choose your activity or choose your adventure. And so my kids could choose one or two. We did learning how to use chopsticks, and then we ate dinner with Chinese food. Then we also did some of the calligraphy. So that was really fun. Those were the adventures that we chose to do with this country. Then it keeps going on the other side. And then you can see we move into the next country. So this one starts with the map work and then goes into the timeline. Every country that you're studying is represented in the notebook pages. And you'll be doing some similar things. All of them are going to have map work. All of them will have a timeline, interesting things about the people, the culture. It's just such a great program. There's some more for the Choose Your Adventure, and it has different activities to do for each country with those adventures. Okay, seriously, the artwork is just beautiful. These pictures, I love it. And then I love that they have like stuff behind some of them. If you've seen like the flag, the country outline, it's just so interesting. More Choose Your Adventure for Russia. So you guys look at the idea here of these notebook pages and why BookShark doesn't need to do a lap book or activity box, because this is just awesome in itself. I'm kind of skipping through here so you can see that it goes through every single one that you'll be studying. So by the end of this is going to be such a cool notebook to have for my kids to look back through and remember what we learned. And if you need evidence of learning or anything like that, it's just a great, great notebook. So we also have our timeline book and the timeline stickers. Now level F doesn't have as many timeline stickers as some of the other levels do, but you can see they're great, black and white. We'll color our stickers a lot of times, or we won't. We'll just do whatever. We'll cut them out and stick them in black and white. They do have, you can see they're kind of scored on the back so that when you cut them out, they're easy to peel. And then we put our stickers in our timeline book. We just use a family timeline book, and then my kids take turn putting the stickers in. We usually have like one person open it up to the right date and the next person gets to put them in. So you can see some of our ancient China that we did. And so we take turns with that. Some people will have each family member gets their own book, and then you would just order separate stickers. This is how I store all of my BookShark read-alouds and readers. I put them on our big bookshelf down in our main living area. And right here is those colors that I was telling you about. This is the closest that I already had in washi tape to that kind of dark teal color that is on the top of the level F. That way I label my books so that when I look at my bookshelf, I can see, okay, these are all my level F books. When my kids take one to read and then they come put it back, they know where it goes. So I have like level F, there's level E and C and B and on and on and on. So I can tell which books go with which level. BookShark separates their books into 3 different categories. There's the history, the read-alouds, and the readers. So these are the history books that you will be reading with Level F. So this one is like, I don't know, a typical history book. It goes down country by country. You do reading from this pretty much every day. So Journey to the Eastern Hemisphere, then it's Homesick. Most of these for the history program are considered nonfiction. They are true stories or biographies. That one is technically considered fiction, even though it was the girl telling her own story. Whatever Happened to Penny Candy. Gandhi. And then we come down to Mother Teresa. Beautiful pictures in a lot of these. The Shadows of Gadames. Sorry if I am mispronouncing that. Nelson Mandela. So those are the history books. These are all the read aloud books. So this is what you would be reading to your children, or you guys could be listening to them, however you want to do it, but they are intended to be read together as a family, not just given to your child and let them go read it. So we'll start with all the small poems and 14 more. So these ones are just really super short, and you usually read just one. We actually typically read, it's like 3 a week, and we typically read them all on the same day and just do the poems once a week. Where the Mountain Meets the Moon, such a cute book. Young Fu and the Upper Yangtze. I like this book a lot better than I thought I would, actually. The Master Puppeteer. And this whole book list is on the BookShark website. So if I'm going too fast or anything, I Rode a Horse of Milk White Jade. You can go to their website and just click on the Reading with History, and then you can see what's included, and it gives you the whole book list there. The Land I Lost. So most of these books, A Moment Comes. Isn't that cover beautiful? It's so pretty. So most of these books are fiction, historical fiction. Daughter of the Mountains. So I really love learning our history through these living books and really finding out what life would have been like to live during that time. Shadow Spinner. So we had that Eastern Hemisphere book, and that was more like a typical history book where it tells you a lot of facts, but it doesn't really help you dive into what life would have been like living during that time, like for an actual person. Let's see, 7 Daughters and 7 Sons. And so I really like reading these together so that my kids and myself, we just have a much better appreciation of what these people would have actually been like or lived like. A Long Walk to Water. So reading these books together is just some of my favorite memories that we have. Beat the Story Drum Pum Pum. Ashanti to Zulu, African Traditions. Ooh, the artwork is cool in there. Journey to Joburg. Call It Courage. And The Horse and His Boy. So again, those are all of the read-alouds, what y'all will be reading together. These are all of the readers. This is what your children will be reading on their own. So this is great. You just give them the book and say, read chapters 1 through 3, or whatever it is. So I'll walk through so you can kind of see the reading level. We start here with Lee1, Lad of Courage. So this is ages 10 to 13. So you can see there's still pictures. There's still a lot of words. The next is Wild Orchid. This is a retelling of Mulan, and my 13-year-old son was not excited to be reading it, but then he actually really liked it. Sweet and Sour, Tales from China. The Year of the Dog. The Kite Fighters. The Big Wave. It's a really short one. Born in the Year of Courage. Next is The Cat Who Went to Heaven. So it kind of goes back and forth. It definitely does not start with the easiest reader and then go down and end with the hardest reader. They're all mixed up, Sudoku. So I'm not exactly sure like how they picked what books for what, and Breaking Stalin's Nose, if it was easy reader, harder reader, easy, harder, because it kind of varies. So you might have a couple simpler ones with lots of pictures, bigger writing or printing style, and then you go to some that have barely any pictures or no pictures and lots of tiny words. So I don't know, I guess reach out to BookShark if you're interested in how they chose the readers and what order they put them in with the different reading levels. So we have Henry Reed and then Just So Stories. Rickshaw Girl. Around the World in 80 Days. Ollie and the Golden Eagle. Habibi. King of the Wild, the story of the Godolphin Arabian. They've actually used a lot of this author's horse books in various levels. A Girl Named Disaster. This is probably the thickest book with the smallest writing. So I would guess, just flipping through and the ones that we have read, that this would be the most difficult reading level of all of them. Red Sand, Blue Sky. So we go from that more difficult reading level back to this. So I think they do kind of rotate easier, harder. That way it doesn't overwhelm the kids. And lastly, Water Sky. As I'm sure y'all can see, BookShark's Reading with History is amazing. There's a reason my family absolutely loves it, that my kids ask to do it. We get to read all of these fabulous, amazing books. We get to do those really cool, beautifully done notebook pages, and it's all scheduled for me, which is amazing. I love it. We've been so happy with our choice to use BookShark, and this level F is definitely into the running for one of my favorite levels to do. So if you have any questions about BookShark's Reading with History in general, or specifically about the level F, please comment in the comment box down below. I will be happy to chat with you about that. Again, if you are loving this BookShark, program and you would like to order it yourself, shoot me an email and let me know that you're interested in a coupon code and I will send that off to you. If you'd like to see a look through of the level D and E combo, you can watch this video right here. Before you do that, don't forget to click my picture right here and subscribe to my channel. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope this has been informative for y'all and I'll see you next time.